Okay, here's a really cool video that I'm going to show you 4 different push-up variations going from, well, it's very difficult to sort of say which one's easier and harder because it can vary from person to person, but basically we're going to show you a little bit more complex each time, with the emphasis being very much on trying to keep good posture and alignment so that you can keep a good rib angle to get the serratus anterior muscle, which is predominantly the weakest one in the shoulder complex, to activate the most. The push-up is one of the best exercises to do this, but if it's not done correctly, then it'll cause more harm than good. Alright, so let's have a look at this first one, which is just your standard push-up. And this, we've got Nathan, we've got the stick on his back to help give him feedback on where his body is on its, in terms of its posture. A lot of people, their hips will drop too low. If anything, his hips are too high. Their head will drop forward. That's a classic one we see with the females especially. And you'll see, if I just go back for a minute, the main thing we're sort of looking for here is where he's the lumbar curve needs to keep a normal curve. The biggest problem we see with shoulder and neck problem is this gap here, and that's because the shoulders tilt too far forward. They're lurching forward, when most of us have from poor posture, which puts us in a very bad position and stresses all of the things that we don't want and doesn't activate all of the things we do want. Alright, so Nathan needs to work on that a little bit more to get that perfect. He's not too bad in terms of his posture around the hips and that, but in that area he's not so good. Alright, so that's why he needs a bit more work on that. So if I fast forward, and you'll sort of get a bit of an idea of where he is. So you can get a good alignment of his shoulders from this angle, and this is where you can sort of pick up asymmetrical things like the left and right not working together as a team. Now when we move to Ali, this is a little bit more complicated, and you'll see when Ali holds this position here, the angle of the stretch that going through the pec and the entire shoulder joint is extreme with the Bosu there. The Bosu is not there for balance. You could use a step or something. It's just a nice height for us. It basically helps us to stretch through that area, which is often very tight, especially from the pec minor. So that's the first part of that. The second part of that is when she comes up right here, and that last bit that she did with the shoulder there, if I just go back, you'll see how she's coming up. This bit here, that last bit, to come up high enough, that's when you get the serratus anterior working extremely aggressively as it's sort of pushing up, and this is what I call protraction. So this exercise has a double whammy, all right? So serratus anterior for this side, stretching of the pec minor and through the bicep tendon on the other side. So it's a stretching, stability, strengthening all at the same time, all right? So very, very useful exercise in helping someone to get that pushing action back without pain. The key to this is not to do it to failure, just to do good ones only. All right, so the form principle applies to this one big time. All right, so great exercise that you can use to help you get some extra strength. So if we move on to the next one, and we'll see Nathan. This time we've got the extreme balance board, and this is very much like what we use it for squats, trying to get evenness between the left and the right. Instead of the legs, it's the arms. All right, so he's having, because it has a quick reflex movement, it's more about stability than strength. If he fights with the board, he'll never get it right. He has to breathe very controlled. If he holds his breath, he'll stiffen up too much. He's got to be very relaxed, and he's got to really sort of have a good feel, keep good posture. This is hard because he's also keeping one leg off the floor, as you can see there. All right. So now he's having to maintain all of the things he had before, except this extreme sort of movement from left and right. All right. And he's trying to keep evenness between the arms. He can't favour a side. This is when you really you can pick on faults here that you won't see on the floor. All right. So great exercise again for developing that pushing pattern. And the more advanced version of this is if we go to Ali. Is we bring in a medicine ball, for one hand only. So it's very similar to what she did last time. So this medicine ball can move around a little bit. And you see, look at the stretch that she gets through that right arm there. And now the left arm is having to push right up out of it, and we're getting the huge activation through serratus anterior on the left arm. All right, so There's 4 excellent push-ups that you can use within your training to help you to develop the patterns to move into standing things, which would be more like with cables, before you move into barbells and dumbbells throwing over your head and things like that. All right, so a great way to sort of start and build a lot of stability, postural control, breathing, to then develop strength. All right, great exercises to use. Can't highly recommend them enough. All right, I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you on the next video.